The sound of waves was the first thing I remember that morning, soft, rhythmic, endless. It was the kind of sound that could wash away every worry in the world. I turned to my side and saw her, Maya, her face half buried in the white pillow, a strand of hair dancing across her cheek. The sunlight filtering through the balcony curtains painted her in gold. For a moment, I simply watched her, marveling at the quiet miracle of finally calling her my wife. Our honeymoon had begun 2 days earlier, in a small coastal town that looked like it had leapt straight out of a postcard. We had chosen this place, Miraluna, not because it was famous, but because it wasn't. Hidden away from the crowds, it offered what we both craved after the chaos of our wedding: silence, sea, and simplicity. The air smelled of salt and jasmine, and the ocean stretched endlessly, a shimmering blue promise. Our little villa stood on a cliff's edge, where we could hear the waves crash below and watch fishing boats drift lazily in the distance. Every corner of it was warm and rustic: woven lamps, wooden floors, white curtains fluttering like soft sighs. That morning, Maya woke with a sleepy smile. "You're staring," she murmured, her voice still heavy with dreams. "Can you blame me?" I grinned, leaning closer. She laughed, that laugh that had made me fall in love with her in the first place. It wasn't loud, but it had a warmth that wrapped around my heart every time. After breakfast, freshly baked bread, mango juice, and coffee brewed strong enough to wake the sea itself, we decided to explore. The locals had told us about a hidden beach only reachable by a narrow trail through the cliffs. Maya, ever the adventurer, insisted we go. "You're wearing sandals," I warned. "And you're wearing fear," she shot back, eyes sparkling. We set off, the path winding between rocks and wildflowers, the sun painting our skin in bronze. It wasn't long before we heard it, the whisper of waves through the cliffs, and then, suddenly, the view opened. Before us stretched a private cove, untouched and perfect. The sand was pale gold, the water impossibly clear. Maya ran ahead, her laughter echoing off the cliffs, her footprints the first to mark the sand. I followed, slower, savoring the sight. She spun in circles with her arms wide open, her scarf dancing like a flag of freedom. "This is ours," she said, breathless. "Just for today." We spent hours there, swimming, talking, lying side by side as the tide crept closer. She drew shapes in the sand with a stick: hearts, waves, a clumsy version of our initials. At one point, she looked at me with that mischievous glint I knew too well and said, "Promise me we'll come back here someday, when we're old and wrinkly." "I'll bring the same sandals," I joked. "And I'll still win the race down the hill," she teased. By afternoon, the sky turned silver gray, and the wind picked up. A storm was approaching, but instead of heading back, we stayed, watching as the waves grew bolder, the sea darkening to steel. It was wild and beautiful, just like her. When the first drops of rain fell, we ran for cover beneath a large rock ledge, laughing like children. The rain came hard and fast, turning the sand into mirrors. We were soaked, but neither of us cared. She looked at me, her hair clinging to her face, and said softly, This is what happiness feels like, doesn't it?" I nodded. No grand words could match the simplicity of that truth. When the rain eased, we walked back hand in hand, shoes squelching, hearts light. Back at the villa, we changed into dry clothes, ordered room service, and sat by the balcony watching the sea calm itself again. Dinner was simple: grilled fish, coconut rice, and wine. But it felt like a feast. As night deepened, music drifted up from the distant town, faint guitar strings and laughter. Maya leaned against me, tracing circles on my arm. "Do you ever think about what comes next?" she asked. "Every day," I admitted. "But for once, I don't want to plan anything. I just want this moment." She smiled, resting her head on my shoulder. "Then let's make this moment last." Later, we danced, no music, no rhythm, just the sound of waves and our own laughter. The room smelled of sea salt and candle wax. The world beyond that balcony could have vanished, and we wouldn't have noticed. In that fragile, perfect stillness, I realized something: a honeymoon isn't just a trip. It's the pause between two chapters, the gentle breath before real life begins again. It's where you learn the language of being together, where silence feels safe and shared glances say everything words can't. That night, as we lay listening to the sea, I whispered, "Do you think love always feels like this?" Maya turned to me, her eyes soft and certain. "No," she said. "It feels different. It grows quieter, deeper. But it's always here, even when we're old and wrinkly, standing on that same beach." Outside, the moon hung low over Mira Luna, turning the waves into ribbons of silver. The world was vast, the future unknown, but in that moment, I knew we had found our forever. And somewhere beyond the cliffs, the ocean kept its rhythm, the same song that had begun our honeymoon, and perhaps, the rest of our lives.